Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star, you are first.
Gilly, so I guess what does it mean for you to, finally get back out on the course this season?
Yeah, I want to say it's been way too long, honestly, since the last spring. We went through a lot of finding motivation and trying to get better for the 2021 season. It's really exciting. I mean, we finished our season pretty well last spring. I mean, we won our Wildcat Invitational. We were all really excited. So what I hope for is just going back on the course this year and trying to do as best as we can again.
From your perspective, take us through that, I guess, that whole few days when everything got shut down last year.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, those was it 3-4 days were probably the most stressful days of my life, because I had to find flights and just leave the country basically in 48 hours or so. And I mean, yes, it was sad because we had to end our season. We didn't even get to Pac-12s or anything, and we were really feeling strong after our tournament. But yes, it was frustrating, but at the same time, I think we learned a big lesson of how so suddenly everything can be taken away from us. So it was kind of a good way to understand and try to value the opportunity that we get here and just keep on working for the future and realize that it's we have to be really, really happy to be playing for the university.
And how did you find out that the season was getting canceled last year?
So we were on a spring break, and it was just the Twitter messages kept coming up that the Pac-12s have suspended. Then it got suspended indefinitely. Then we got a meeting with our coaches where they told us that it's going to be canceled for good for the spring. So yeah, it was really, really sudden.
Mhm. And I saw that you're from Lithuania, and there's a few Lithuanian athletes on campus, including a couple basketball players. What I don't know if did you get a chance to see last night's game and Azulis Tubelis' game winner?
Yeah, it was amazing. Honestly, I knew that they were going against ASU because I just met with them like 2 days ago, I think, and they mentioned that they're going there. So yeah, watching yesterday's game, it was honestly amazing and made me really proud. Those like the last 2 seconds, my God, my heart was probably like not beating anymore. Like it was insane.
And do you know Azulis personally? Have you had a chance to talk to him?
We just met for dinner last semester, just like get to know him. But our country is so small that we realized that we have a lot of friends in common because our schools is like 6 miles apart. So basically
Wow.
the same circle of people. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess how is it having a fellow Lithuanian here in Tucson who's not playing the same sport as you?
I mean, I was really glad when I found that out because it's always nice to increase our community, even though it's like what, 3 people. But it's nice to have someone who speaks your language here. It's nice to follow their accomplishments too, because especially basketball, we are a basketball nation. Lithuania is, so I'm a huge fan. So that's why it's really, really nice to see them do well. Yeah,
Thank you, Gilly.
yeah, of course.
We'll go to Alec White, Arizona Daily Star. Alec?
Yeah, just building off of that, Gilly, how did you grew up in Lithuania? How did you find your way to Tucson? What got you to be a Wildcat?
Oh, that was a very long path, I would say, because, well, yeah, I started playing golf when I was 7. And then for the longest time, I didn't even know that it was a possibility to play college golf. It was just something that you just see somewhere far, far away in the United States. And then towards like the end of my high school, I realized that I don't want to just drop golf. I want to keep on playing it. I want to get better. And then we started looking into the universities, and University of Arizona was by far the best option. I mean, I was really, really excited to come here to get recruited to the team that just won nationals. I mean, that was basically, I was being proud, and that's it. So yeah, that was a great opportunity.
And when did you kind of touched on it, but when did you realize that playing in college was something that you wanted to do, but also you had the ability, like you were good enough as a golfer to be able to make it to that next level?
I mean, I'm the kind of a person who I never think that I'm good enough. I just keep on working towards getting better. But I think my high school, I would say maybe sophomore year, I started playing more internationally in Europe, just getting a little better among the people that are basically my age, hearing that they are going to universities. And then I saw absolutely no opportunities in Europe because we don't have universities that have golf, whatever teams or anything at all. So that's why I started looking into it, because I knew that golf was going to be a part of my life probably forever. So yeah.
And then how did you pick up English so quickly? You seem very fluent in it. And Zulis, when we interview him for basketball, he's still making his way, trying to do it, and he speaks well. But you're I would say more fluent. So just how were you able to learn the English language so quickly?
Yeah, so just a fun fact. So I didn't really learn English in school. I started only in my high school. So that was basically 5 years ago. But I mean, English is the language for the whole world. So because I was playing golf internationally, I had to communicate somehow with other players. And I finished in international baccalaureate in my high school. So my academics, they were in English too. And I mean, you kind of have to get over yourself when you come here, because that's the only language you speak. You don't even speak your native language anymore. So I think last year helped me a lot. And I think Ashalas, he's gonna get over that too. It's just like a flip of a switch. Then like one day you just stop thinking Lithuanian, stop translating it, and just start speaking English.
And then a golf question for you. What do you enjoy about playing golf?
That's a very good question. And I think my biggest, like what I like the most is the unpredictability of golf, because I like how everything is always changing. Like you can never play the same course in the same conditions when everything is the exact same. So like the challenge that you face every single time with yourself, with your mind, with your physical capabilities, with the course, with weather conditions, with everything, is just for me that everything is constantly changing and you have to kind of adapt, and it's always a challenge.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Seth with the Arizona Daily Wildcats. Seth?
All right. Hi, Gilly. What are your personal keys to starting off the season well, just so you can get started off on the right foot?
I don't know. Honestly, I've been working quite a lot on my swing. So I think for me, the biggest key right now is feeling confident with what I'm doing. And this first tournament, really hope to just see where I'm standing at, and just see what I can do on the course, because for the last month at home, I could only practice inside. So I know what I can do with my body, but I'm not sure what I can do on the course. So I think the key things would be just trusting what I've been working on, enjoying the team time with everyone, because playing on a team is very different from playing individually. And just, seeing how it goes from the first tournament, and just working on all the weaknesses and trying to fix them.
What have you played any competitive golf since the season ended? Did you play any summer tournaments, or what have you been playing in?
Yeah, so after last spring, I had an opportunity to play quite a lot, because countries in Europe opened and they had a lot of tournaments. So I traveled from countries like Slovakia to United Kingdom, and I played at least couple of maybe even 3 events each month. So that was a lot of golf. I did compete quite a bit, and I had some good scores as well as some bad scores. So I'm not completely out of the competitive golf for sure, but it still takes some time to just get back in the college golf. Yeah.
And then did you notice any difficulties coming here from Lithuania playing desert golf? Because it is different than like a tree-lined fairway golf course.
Yeah, that's very true. And I did notice some difference. Well, for me, actually, it wasn't just the desert golf, it was the Bermuda grass that completely caught me off guard, because I'm really not used to it. But I do enjoy desert golf. I don't find it more difficult or anything. So, I mean, it's nice. I love the weather here, and just trying to keep the ball in play and not behind a cactus is that's all you need to do.
That's great. Thank you.
We'll go back to Justin.
So how many times have you had a ball near a cactus?
I think too many. I gotta say too many. It's just when you can't even reach the ball with the golf club, you just have to kind of like crawl underneath some spiky bush. It's yeah.
When you left to Lithuania and then you try to come back before the season. Was there any difficulties trying to get back into the country?
Actually, I was expecting difficulties, but there were no difficulties. I just wasn't sure if I was going to come back, as we found out that we're not going to have a fall season. But then realized that doing school would be much easier in the same time zone, and golf. I know playing golf here is much better because of the weather mostly, and because some of the teammates were coming back. So there were basically no difficulties. It was just the flights that were completely empty, and it was quite interesting to come here.
And what do you think just about the overall team that the Wildcats have? And because like you said, winning the Wildcat Invitational last year, even though the season was canceled, you still ended it on a positive note. What do you think about this year's roster and what the team can do?
I think that we're still very, very strong. And the thing that I like the most about this team is how we support each other. We come from such different cultures that I couldn't even imagine having 3 Taiwanese on our team, some Americans, some Europeans. So I think the unity that we still have with everyone coming from different environments, different value systems, that's what I enjoy the most, because we're all friends, we're all enjoying practicing together, and it's kind of having a second family here, honestly, which is really helpful when you come that far away from home.
And with like such a melting pot of different people from different cultures, do you kind of pick up certain things from your teammates?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting to explore those cultures because you definitely see differences in communicating, differences in, I don't know, even food. So it is always nice to see something different from what we are, because Lithuanians, we're kind of like very individualist people. Like we don't talk a lot. We're kind of that part of Europe, basically Scandinavians. So that's why just coming to a team that's more outgoing made me change quite a bit. And I think I have changed from what I was before coming here. Like I just becoming more, we call it the American way, which is not really, there's nothing bad about it. We're just like, I just became more outgoing. I can talk more. It's just, it's still nice. Yeah. It's
And I
exploring your own limits, honestly.
Okay. And I know Rich has his hand up. Lastly, for me, you brought up food. What's like a different food that you liked since coming over to America, or maybe a food that you picked up from your teammates?
The food that I discovered here, which it might sound funny, but it's Mexican. I absolutely enjoy, there's so many restaurants here that just there's impossible to find anything as good in Europe, I think. So that type of food I really enjoy. And the thing that was a challenge for me is the spiciness of everything, because we're a dairy land kind of, and we eat a lot of potatoes. So eating all the sauces and getting everything so spicy here, that's probably the biggest thing for me, but I really enjoy it.
Spoken like a true Tucsonan. Thank you.
We'll go to Rich Herrera with Wildcats Radio 1290.
Good morning. Thank you for sitting down with us today. So you talked about meeting with the Tabellises and getting to know them a little bit. I asked both of them, where do you tell people back home you are? How do you describe coming to the United States to play golf and then living here in Tucson?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, because I get that question a lot on how am I handling everything here? And probably my easiest answer to them is that it's basically like coming to a different world, because the golf culture here, people here, and the whole environment of collegiate experience is very, very different. And I think when I came here, I was really, really happy to try it out. In the beginning, I was surprised on how different it is, because all I could see and all I could compare it to was basically movies on what you see about college. So yeah, I mean, it's different. It's more of a team environment, which was again new to me. But I really, really enjoyed, because it's a lot, but it gives you so much experience in different fields of life, and it's very, very nice.
If you don't mind me asking, which college movies did you watch in order to figure out what this is going to be like?
That is a good question, because I'm not sure. It's mostly TV series about
Okay.
what the fraternities and sororities are. And then you don't really believe that you're going to see that here, but then you come and it's actually reality. So those kinds of stereotypes about this.
So when you met with the Tabellas brothers, did they ask you any questions? Did you give them any advice of what it's like to be here?
Yeah, it was really funny because when I was talking to them, I kind of saw myself last year in them, what they were asking me and how they were handling everything. And what I found the most interesting is that they said the exact same thing. They asked me, "Why is everyone so happy here?" And I realized that I asked myself the same question. Why is everyone like so happy, so positive about life here? So that was probably the thing that they asked me, is it like fake that everything is so good here, or is it actually a reality that we're basically living a dream? And I had to tell them that it is living a dream. It's nothing fake, and you're going to enjoy this collegiate experience just as much as I am my second year.
How many Arizona fans are there in Lithuania with you playing, with the Tabellases being here? Do people, if you sent Arizona gear home, are people wearing Arizona stuff?
I mean, our numbers are definitely increasing because I had my whole golf community hooked up to golf, to Arizona golf, because it's really funny when we play around and we end around like 4 or 3. I know that's in the middle of the night for me, for my people at home, and I still get messages right after the round saying, "Oh, you played so well. We were so excited to watch the whole team play." So we are increasing the community. There's just staying up until 4 in the morning and watching how the whole team is doing. And especially with basketball, I think more and more people are going to get involved and realize that what kind of a life we're living here,
So
especially.
we might have a pipeline from Lithuania to Tucson for student athletes then maybe.
Yeah, basically. I mean, seeing that there's 3 of us here already, people will maybe get excited, maybe will want to come here because they see that it's such a great opportunity for your future careers.
One last thing. The Arizona women's golf program has had such an international flair, from Annika to Lorena. If you've reflected upon the opportunity that you have to be part of something so special that has such an international flavor and has so many legendary golfers internationally that have come here to play in Tucson?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a lot to find out that I'm actually going here because I knew legends basically that graduate from this university, and I think our team is doing a great job on bringing together different nationalities from all over the world. Because for us, this is kind of a gate to LPGA. It's a gate to doing what we want to do with golf or just with studies. So yeah, I mean, I'm honored to be a part of the team and see its past and even present with how good, I mean, we have top players of the world right now. So yeah, it is a big thing.
Thank you so much.
All righty, Gilly, before we let you go, can we get the official pronunciation of your name?
Yeah, so my name is Gillette Gilley.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Gilly. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right. Tough act to follow, Coach Laura Ianello, but you are up next. We'll start with questions for Coach Ianello ahead of the Superstition Challenge here to start the season. And Alec, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, hey coach. Just describe your relationship with Gilly and why you wanted her to be part of Arizona Golf.
Yeah, Gillette was really what I call a diamond in the rough. She came out strong for us last year in her freshman year. I found her at the British Championship about 2 summers ago. She was kind of planning on being a 2000 recruit, but then her dad was maybe contemplating being a 21. And I was actually watching. I tell Gillette all the time, I'm honest with her. I said, I wasn't actually watching you in the group that I was recruiting. I was watching another player. And I saw Gillette hit this drive, and I was like, wow. I said, this girl's pretty impressive. So I started watching Gillette for a couple holes, struck up a conversation with her dad, and then boom, before you know it, they were on a plane here to visit Tucson, and then they committed. So it was I'd never even heard of her before until I saw her hit that tee shot. And so really, I feel like I was very fortunate to fall upon her.
And you've recruited a lot of international athletes. Is it difficult? Do you find it difficult to go out to different parts of the country and recruit these players and bring them all in and have this mixing pot in Tucson?
It is, I think golf is very objective. It's black and white, so we can see a score at the end of the day. It's not like we're counting rebounds and baskets and things of that matter. So more than anything, recruiting to me is trying to find out which of these junior players are going to progress and get better and strive for better things once they get to college. Because as we all know, a lot of these athletes, as they get older, it's very easy to burn out if they decide that they don't want to try to play professionally, or if they are enjoying their academics more than what they thought. So it's a balance, and I think just getting to know that player and figuring out, who's really going to be the workhorse that you need in college to continue to strive to get better for your team.
And from your perspective, just how has the team handled being out of team competition for so long and now being back on campus? Just how have they been able to adapt to all that?
Some ladies have done really well, some have not. I think what the biggest challenge for the last 9 months has been lack of opportunity. I think you saw in Europe and the United States, a lot of junior tournaments were happening. But I think there's a lot of fear in traveling with COVID. And so it's been very devastating for so many. And my team is definitely excited to get back, but I think we still know we're going into a competitive season where this pandemic is still out there and still very strong. So we're just trying to calm everybody's fears, make sure everybody's in a good place, mentally health, and let's just get back to enjoying the game and feeling blessed that we get to compete. And currently right now, I don't have my entire team back, but I know by the beginning of February, everybody will be here and ready to go. So we're taking it day by day. It's been a tough year for everybody.
All right, we'll go with Seth. We'll go over to Seth.
Coach, yeah, just tell me some of the worries you've had over the last, 9-10 months of just worrying about keeping your players healthy as they're all over the world. And, you can't really control them since they're on campus.
Right. We're always worried about their mental health, their health of staying safe from COVID. And to be honest with you, my worry is, we've been in this for 10 months and my players are so talented where I kind of deal with a little bit of the stress that maybe Sean Miller deals with. Is my players, they're waiting around to play a college season where a lot of them could just turn pro. So that has been my biggest fear is not knowing whether or not I'm going to have a team to come back. They're not going to come back or not, because, life is moving on. Professional golf is competing. College golf is like up in the air here and there, and amateur events has been competing. So it's really trying to make sure I can get these ladies to return and to compete for us.
When a player approaches you to go to the LPGA or the next step, what are kind of some of the things you talk about deciding whether to stay at school another year or to take next step and play professionally?
I have a very honest approach with my players. Having played on the LPGA tour myself and seeing the depth and competitiveness out there on the LPGA tour right now is, if a player wants to turn pro, I encourage them to do what it feels is best for them, but I also am going to be honest and let them know where I feel their game is or where their game needs to improve. Or I tell them maybe, yeah, you should turn pro. You're ready. Like, you should be making millions of dollars out there. But it's all about just being honest. I mean, I never selfishly would keep a player here for my own team. It has to do with student athlete well-being, and it's what's going to be best for them. And I can always sense when a player's ready to go. Like, when they want to turn pro, they're not motivated by amateur events anymore. And you can see it as a coach because they don't get excited. They're not as passionate about playing for college anymore because they're so excited for that next step. So I'm never one to make that decision for them, but I try to be honest with them and tell them where their game is or where I feel that their game is.
And then last one, what are the couple biggest obstacles of having going to a tournament during this right now that you normally wouldn't have, other than, of course, the virus itself?
Well, we are testing 48 hours before we depart to make sure everybody's negative. The biggest thing, I think the most difficult thing is for my returners, they have this normalcy in their head of what college golf was and how enjoyable it was. And now when you look at the experience it's flipped upside down. We have to go to the hotels. We have to isolate. We have to spatially distance. There's no more going out for team dinners. And in a small team atmosphere like myself, we travel with 5 to 6 ladies. That's just like a big dinner table. That's not allowed. So a lot of our team meals is a lot of our team bonding time, and we can't do that now. Our ladies have to do grab and go to go eating style. They have to eat either isolated from anyone else, because they say the biggest way to contract the virus is to be eating with others. And so there's a lot of protocols that really takes the fun out of all of this. And so I worry about my returners not enjoying their experience as a student athlete like they once did, because they know freshmen, they don't know any different. They're like, oh, we go to our room and we're going to eat, right? So it's more worried about those upperclassmen not enjoying the experience, because it's not as fun as what it was.
Awesome. That's all for me. Thanks, Coach.
We'll move over to Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, Coach, it's nice to meet you. A couple things I'm fascinated about with an international roster. How did you keep track of your players as they all left the country and went home and spread across the globe during all of this?
It was really terrible to schedule a Zoom team meeting. It was awful, because we would have players in Asia, we had players in Europe, we had players in the United States on the East Coast, we had players on the West Coast of the United States. So really, we didn't get to schedule too many team Zooms because it was so awful to find a time. So we just tried to connect with the ladies individually on a time that would work best with them. I trusted that all of them were competing at home and staying sharp, and really I had no control. Once they left Tucson, I knew they'd be in the care of their families, and at that point you have no control as a coach. You just hope that they do the right thing.
So I'm fascinated. You tell the story of you were looking at another player when you found this player. Internationally, when you're out there recruiting or talking, how big is that Arizona logo and reputation because of the international program and the players that have been here in the past?
Our history is so rich with women's golf. When you look at our alumni as Annika, Lorena Ochoa, Golbis, Baena, and then the fact that we've won 3 national championships over the amount of time that we've had a program, I think it navigates these players to know that if they want to continue their game and get better and play professionally, that this is a place that they can come to and excel. Golf in Tucson is fantastic. They have so much opportunity to play different courses, different styles of courses, and then that you have the weather. I would say the weather piece for my recruiting is one of the biggest selling points, besides the 20 golf courses that I get to show these young women. So I think that's kind of what we go with the internationals. It's not, and I think recently having won a championship helps as well, because great players want to be teammates with other great players. So that it's all a spiral issue. So
how much does the local golf community, the PGA Tour, the PGA club members that have the 20 golf courses that you talk about, how important are they to the success of this program?
We're indebted to Tucson and the PGA of America here in the Southern PGA chapter of Arizona, because we have such an amazing relationship with all the courses. Most of the head pros and the GMs, they know Coach Anderson and I very well, and we've built those relationships so they welcome our teams. We have the amazing facility out at Sawilo that we call home, but if we need to go up to La Paloma or Tucson National or Stone Canyon, the community really, really supports us, which is, I think, very uncommon for a lot of big college towns.
One last thing. I'm also fascinated on the communication between all the players that you have. How hard is it to talk to them and explain things culturally when you have someone from Lithuania, you have someone from Asia, you have someone from the States, and there just might be things that they just don't understand about each other's culture? How do you navigate kind of being the UN General Assembly in getting everybody on the same page?
Well, I think that's a huge part of my role, is to get these ladies to learn about one another. I think in today's society, a lot of these young people are introverts. They don't talk too much to others. I mean, I think it's part of my key when I'm traveling with these ladies and getting to know them, that I ask a million questions, like, what's your favorite food? What does your mom make? You know, blah, blah, anything that I can to get these ladies to talk about what it was like for them growing up in their country. And then boom, before you know it, I'm like a conversation starter. And then all of a sudden you'll have another lady join, oh, I did that when I was young. You know, just, I feel like that is one of my biggest responsibilities, is to build cohesiveness for these ladies, to get to know each other, respect their culture. And that's one of my slogans. I said, you have to be polite and you have to be kind on my golf team. I'm not into drama. I'm not into garbage behavior. So it's pretty simple.
Thank you so much.
We'll go back to Justin Spears.
Coach, when you were talking about the coordinating the times to have virtual team meetings, what time did you finally settle on to finally have those few meetings?
Oh, I think it was always around, oh Lord, it was either 10 p.m. in Arizona. So then it would be, you know, middle of the day in Taiwan. And then it would be like 6 or 7 a.m. in Europe for the girls, like in Lithuania or the UK.
Wow.
Yeah. Or maybe one night it was even, I think Justin and we started a call, and our poor Arizona and California kids, like we would call at 11 p.m. That way in Taiwan, it would be midday. And then in Europe, it would be early morning.
And then you said you have East Coast kids as well?
Well, I had a girl on my team, Therese, who is from California. She would train in Jacksonville, Florida a lot of the time. Or our strength coach would need to be on the call and she would be in Virginia. Just, you never know. You never knew where somebody was going to be. It was nuts. Or I spent 5 weeks in the Midwest and 2 weeks on the East Coast. So yeah, it was pretty comical trying to get a team Zoom together.
Team meeting at midnight. That doesn't sound fun.
Got to do it.
But when you were recruiting Gilley, and you said, you know, you were actually out recruiting other players, is that the first time that's ever happened where you were on the recruiting trail and you were supposed to watch somebody else, but you ended up getting another player?
No, it happens all the time. It really does. You think you go out, you look at your tee sheet and you're like, you circle the names that you think you want to go see, or you circle the names that maybe ladies have emailed you that shown interest, or this lady might have a really good ranking and you want to go, you know, check out that group. And then there might be another young lady in that same group who you've never seen before, or maybe she hasn't played in as many competitive tournaments that you've been to. And for Gilley's case, she was at the British Girls Championship, and the British in Europe, all of these women are on these international teams. Well, Lithuania didn't have an international team, so Gilley was at the British with her father by herself. So normally when I would recruit, I would talk to these international coaches because they have coaches. I mean, the internationals are pretty much playing college golf before college golf because they already have these coaches and their country supports them. But Gilley was just literally a diamond in the rough. I feel so fortunate to have kind of seen her.
And what can you tell us about the Superstition Challenge coming up?
It's actually just going to be a good little starter for the season. Like I said, I don't have my team here. I only have 3 ladies that are competing this week because that's all I have eligible. My 3 Taiwan ladies, Yu Sung Ho, Yu Cheng Ho, and Ya Chen Chang, they are in Taiwan currently. They're coming back on February 3rd. They played a TLPGA event middle of January, and I think they knew we weren't really starting the season full bore until about middle of February. So they just kind of had decided to stay back until the beginning of February. And so they'll be back in 2 weeks, and that's when we'll actually be able to outfit a team. So right now we're just going to Phoenix. Therese Warner, Gillette Gilley, and Maya Benita are going to play as individuals against ASU, UCLA, and Denver. And so this is just going to be kind of a start of the season. Let's get back to competition, and and then we will be able to have a team fully that moving forward beginning of February.
And Maya, she's from Tucson. I believe she's a state champion as well at Catalina Foothills. What do you like about adding her to the roster?
Maya's a phenomenal kid. She's a hard worker. She's definitely going to be improving in the next year or so. She's brought a lot for team chemistry. You want to talk about the most positive kid, and with us not having a season in the fall and having her in the dorms and, you know, joining the team and making just trying to enjoy every minute of it, because again, like I said, she's not getting the full experience, but you would never think that this kid is, she never has a negative thing to say. She's just absolutely the best.
Thank you.
All righty, I want to thank everybody for coming in this morning, and we'll be doing this again in the future. And